Alright guys, I got a 99 Ford Super Duty, 7.3 liter diesel obviously, and it's got one heck of an oil leak. It's not spraying out, but it's definitely accumulating and coming down to bill housing pretty fast. So due to the fact that there are so many small seepages of oil leaks over the years, the whole area up here is so filled with oil all over the place that I actually had to clean it all off on here, and just to be able to figure out where it actually was coming from, because this one has a pretty good oil leak. The customer's not concerned about all these little seepages. What they were concerned about is there's not a constant drip, but it's dripping, and it looks like it's just coming from everything up here and accumulating, whereas the real problem is in the rear of the engine. And that is the actual plug right here for the oil rail, and the oil rail is built into the head on the 7.3, and there's a plug in the front and there's a plug in the rear back here also. And this one's fairly obvious because I've cleaned off the engine over and over, and then I kind of concentrated in this area with brake clean on top of the degreaser and cleaned it very well, and then I ran it for only a few minutes, and you can see all around the outside of this actual plug on here is wet. So these usually leak in the back, mainly because I'm guessing because of the heat from the turbos and the exhaust back here. It's going to go after these seals a lot faster than the front, where it's away from all the exhaust heat. This truck that I'm working on is this is a 1999 7.3, and in 99.5 there was an updated plug for this that supposedly puts the seal deeper in, and so any service plugs that come to replace these will have that updated design on there. And here's that same plug, but it's on the front of the head here, and these ones, like I said, they usually don't fail because they're away from all that the extra heat and all that that the ones back there have. Now this right one right here on the right hand head is a little tricky to get to because you have the exhaust downpipe right here in your way. So a standard 1/2-inch drive ratchet, and that's the size of the actual plug on here, the actual insert, will not fit right here. The left hand side is free and clear, but this one's got a major problem with clearance. And there's no need to remove the downpipe. What I use is an actual serpentine belt tool with the 1/2-inch drive attachment on there, so it's a low profile like this. And you can do the same thing with a, what is it, a 3/8 to 1/2-inch adapter, socket adapter, and a 15mm box end wrench, or I use a gear wrench. And I'll show you how that looks also. That's probably more common what you would have laying around over a serpentine belt tool like this. But once you have a tool like this and you have something that's low clearance, it's easy to pull it out and start getting it out of there. Now hopefully yours isn't too tight in there. They do use a special Loctite on here so they don't vibrate loose, and they provide an additional sealer to it besides the actual O-ring in there. But either way, this should give you enough leverage. This one was actually very easy to break torque on. I don't know if it was loose or not, but I'm sure it has the old style design, which is prone to failure. So we're going to pull it out and we'll check it out. And once you get it far enough out, you're going to start getting close to that pipe. At this point, we should be able to pull it out by hand. It's a big sucker too. And leaks like this is the reason why on the 6-liter, all these high pressure oil rails and the lines, everything is internal now on the 6.0, just for this reason. They don't want all these extra leaks, external leaks. I'm probably going to drop this. But this is the old style, and this is a lot of miles on it, so I'll be able to show you the difference between the original one and the fancy updated one. I might have to drop it just to get it past here because I can't. There we go. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is, pull that plug out, obviously, and then you're going to want, there's going to be a lot of oil coming out of there. I'd say almost a quart or more. You're going to let that drain out, and then we're going to have to clean the inside and the threads in there before putting the new plug in there because it requires a special Loctite on the threads. Okay, so like I said, there's the two options to get that right-hand rear plug out that has a tight clearance next to the downpipe for the turbo. Like I said earlier, I showed you earlier, here's the gear wrench serpentine belt tool that has the 1/2 inch on it, and that worked perfect. But you may have a regular 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter and a 15 mil regular box end, but I prefer a gear wrench, obviously, it'd be easier back there. And it slips right over it. Let me get it locked in there, right? And then you can use it the same way. Let me see if I can focus here. And that'll stick through your 1/2 inch through to the plug so you can ratchet it in. And it sticks out, plenty far to get into that plug and tighten it up nice and tight, or take it out. So this is another option in case you don't have something like this around. And it has about the same length to it. It says about the same leverage, a little bit less. So this is another option. Works very well. Okay, so onto the sealer they want you to use in the actual threads of the plug. What they want you to use is Loctite 277. Well, most auto parts stores around here do not carry Loctite products, so it's really hard to find locally. The machine shop in town carries Permatex products, RTVs, all that, and they said this one should work. Well, I looked at the back side of the box here, and they basically carry the same numbers as any other, as Loctite does. So there's 277/40 is their number on Permatex, large diameter over 1 inch, and it's the high strength Loctite for that. And then there was also some information on the web about Loctite themselves said if you cannot find Loctite 277, that you can use Loctite 271. And they said it'd be a little bit more messy, probably because it's a thinner sealant compared to the 277. So if you're having trouble finding either the Loctite 271 or the 277, the numbers do cross on here to the Permatex brand. So you can, if they have Permatex, you can use it, and it has all the same properties, and it's made for the same reason. And this stuff is different than the regular old medium strength or high strength thread you may be used to. It has an actual anaerobic sealant in there besides the actual Loctite feature of it. So it's important to have the correct one, but they did say you can use a 271 in a pinch, either from Permatex or Loctite. Okay, so here's the old one, and it obviously has a seal failure itself. Let's see if I can focus on it. There we go. You can see the big old break in it right there, and it's coming apart in pieces here. Actually, it's still pretty pliable. It's a little hard, but the new one's hard too. It's made for the it's a special kind of seal that can handle the high pressures. But yeah, you can see a little better now. And this one, you can see, does not have that circle on the outside like this one does. And that indicates the new design. So that's about it. I'm not going to go through putting the plug in. I just wanted to go over it because a lot of times you won't be able to see this, especially with the exhaust pipe in the way, and you'll just see oil coming down from the valley of the engine or the back side of the engine, and it's all over the place usually, and it's very hard to figure out unless you really clean the area up and then watch it right away afterwards. So it gets misdiagnosed a lot as all those other leaks, like I said, were in the engine valley, and you figure, oh, they're just accumulating down to one, you know, down the bell housing. It's going to pool up, obviously. Well, in all actuality, this is the major contributor back there, and all those other leaks go right past this one. So it's easy to misdiagnose.